Good evening. This is Wale from Godbrain Games, and I have the two move tutorial, or move the game object to two different destinations tutorial coming up for you. All right, let me get this out the way. Well, I'll just make this bigger. Okay, so our end result is gonna be this. This is an in or out for our upcoming game, football 11 versus 11. And before I explain it, I'll just, I don't know, walk you through it. I'll show you what we're doing first, I guess. If you rotate the camera when it hits the destinations, you can make a tempo run game. I probably will, just to be prudent. So I guess you could do that. So you saw the receiver go up and turn left. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Camera could be better. So I'll move the camera back real quick. It should be under the quarterback. Anyways, this is how you find it at least. I'll push that back to negative 200. Raise it up a little bit to 60. And let's see if this looks a little better. Excuse me. And let's see. Well, let me not get ahead of myself. Boom. All right. So that looks better. But walk you through it. So first, you don't have to use we'll just create the thing that we're moving first. We'll use an empty game object. Like the players here, they can be underneath the game object. Since the script is going to move the game object, it doesn't really matter what's underneath it at all. Well, that's not what it's looking for, I guess. I'm going to remove that component, the script, just because I don't want to try and find the prefab for it again, for the thing underneath it. It was a decently sized, I don't know, download, I guess, from the asset store. So I'm not trying to go through that. And I'll change the color of it. I think this one is, there we go. Yep. All right. So now our receiver is blue. And to show you that it's actually still does nothing. All right. Doesn't want to move that way. I guess I'll just move the entire game object. Boom. All right. Move the entire game object. Now it's blue. It shouldn't move at all because there's no script on it. And then we can get started. Well, I'll put it under our game object and then we get started, but you know what I'm saying? 2-part process. There we go. That's our blue receiver. Not moving at all. Gonna put it under this game object. Double check that's not moving. And success. All right. So that's pretty much I mean, you could use a block or whatever you're gonna use, and use the same process. Because you probably have it under an empty game object as well. So let's create the script. I could rewrite the script, but I'm just gonna copy over the script while I explain it as if you were copying it while I'm doing it, because I assume you are. We all use each other's tutorials. All right. Rotation script for the temple run probably is gonna happen because I don't know. That sounds cool. All right, so I'm gonna let the script create itself first. Sometimes if you try and open it too fast, it causes problems. So I go whenever it tells me it's ready, it's ready, and I don't argue with it. Feel me? All right. So here's our script. I'm gonna put it on, and this is our end script. We don't have to use. We don't. There's no special usings or anything like that. But I still like to know the absolute beginnings because just because it's simple now doesn't mean it's gonna be simple later. Boom. And I'll add it on to our player so you know that as of right now it's not doing anything. I don't think we use the start at all, so I can probably just delete that. Yeah. This just uses the update, so we don't need to start at all for this one. Boom. Absolute beginning, absolute end. Especially when you start doing if statements, and I mean, yeah, all the if statements and stuff like that, you don't want to try and, well, I don't want to try and remember where things start and where things stop and all that stuff. I'm cool. All right. Shout out Vimeo, I guess. It didn't have the webcam on it feature, so sadly you don't get to see my smiling face, but whatever. This won't be my last one. All right, so game on tutorial, script tutorial. There it is over there in the inspector. You might as well lock it just because we're not using anything else in this tutorial. I don't know what yeah, okay. Well, so I either pressed saved or I really didn't. All right. Boom. No movement. All right. So let's get going. Always get the beginning and ends of the classes before I even start. I don't think this script's on GitHub just because some of the movements and stuff like that won't be on GitHub just because if it's for the game and stuff like that, I feel like I shouldn't. But I don't think one double move will cause that much stress, so it's cool. All right, so end and beginning of it, no errors, cool. Update's the only thing we're going to use because it's going to keep on constantly checking I think it's like I don't know how often the update runs in this, but it's not a special update. You saw it was a normal update. So begin update function, end of update function. Boom, boom. All right, now let's see what we got here. All right, so our variables. Okay, nice. I'll just copy over. Nah, I could do it in two parts. That makes more sense for tutorial, I guess. No, it doesn't because of the if statements. So I'll do all the variables at one time because it's not going to cause an error for just having variables declared. Boom. All right. So our forward Z goal, that's just going, I guess, I don't know if you guys know the Z, X, and Y. X is left and right, Y is up and down, and Z is forward and back. So our forward Z goal is just how many, I guess in football terms, how many yards forward you're going. Yeah. So we have our forward Z goal, that's 80F. Z speed 20F, that's pretty slow. So we're gonna put it at, I don't know, 70, but there we go. In direction, on our public float Z speed, like you see for the Z portion of it and the X portion of it, instead of like trying to start and stop the speed, I figured I'd save myself the headache and just make two different speeds. So that's what I did. Here's our Z speed and our X speed. And more on that, here's our forward Z goal and our X goal. Because like I said, X is left and right. So that's our X goal. I think I had it set to 0 for it to stop in the middle of the field like that. So stopping at 30, it'll probably be a pretty short in, but I guess why do that to it? I'll make it negative 30, so it'll go all the way across the field. And that speed of 20 is going to kill me. So let's put that at 50. And all variables should be declared. Direction, you just see it when we start, when we get our actual transform movement formula in. Direction's part of it. So that's it. But let's see that all those variables are declared real quick. Can't believe this is already 13 minutes. That was just, I don't know. There we go. All of our variables are declared. Perfect. So it shouldn't do anything, but should still have the variables. Probably should have saved it first, but alrighty. Nothing happened except for the variables. So we're still on track. Now let's get into some movement. And that I could probably do in two parts because I don't think he'll care. So we're in the update, so we'll keep checking the player's location, or we'll keep checking our formula every once in a while. So that works. And here's the, I guess, the actual coding of it. So if transform, which is our game object, dot position dot z is less than our forward goal, direction still equals 1. And then here's our movement formula. And that's where direction comes in. So z speed, it's all multiplied together, time delta time. And then transform dot translate is our movement. So forward, as far as z movement, direction, just 1. This is kind of important because in some games you obviously change direction. So if someone were to do something, instead of having to change your whole formula, you can just flip it to -1 because Tyreek Hill is still just as fast, running backwards as he is running forwards. And if not, I'm sure our users will tell us over email. So make that happen. And then our Z speed here. And then our time, delta time. Translate it. Boom. That'll probably just work by itself. Well, I could actually do it. I'll do it in 2 parts. So the whole formula is the whole formula, of course, but right here, I'll just get the player going forward and I'll make him stop because I'll just end the formula here. And that's why I said I like to put the end of the updates. I mean, I'm sure everyone probably does that, but that'll be pretty easy parentheses to mess up. Or not parentheses, brackets. I don't know if this thing can take hour-long videos, but I guess tonight's the night we find out. Anyways. Alright, so right now, if it's set to 0, it should be set to 0. Yeah, z speed equals 0. So whenever it hits our z goal, it's just going to stop moving because z is going to get set to 0. Let's see what we got. Z speed at 20, so that's going to get changed. All right, so you see it moving. Once it hits the Z goal, though, stopping. Perfection. Nice. It never gets old seeing code run. It never gets old. Anyways, so now we have a player going forward and just stopping, which is useful as well for other routes and stuff like that. But what we want is a double move. So I'm sure you could put it in a formula. I mean, in a separate function as well, and then put it in. But when I was thinking about it, it just seemed like, I don't know, unnecessary for this one. So right now, since it stops, so basically the principle is since it stops at 0, what else does it? I mean, it stops when it gets to its goal. What else does it do when it gets to its goal? And we're going to make it just go left when it gets to its goal and then stop. And then that X speed right here, it's going to go, the X speed we were talking about earlier, why I had 2 speeds instead of some other formula that use the same speed, we're gonna make that speed go to zero, like the other speed went to zero too. So, and I don't know if you guys want to separate it, but I did, just because I think it's gonna. Obviously, our routes are gonna get a little bit more complicated than that, a little bit, but honestly, it'll probably just be like an animation making the routes look more complicated than it is. And in route's an in route. Um, NFL wide receivers, please don't crucify me for that. Um, boom. Take it from this one, and I'll explain it as well. I probably should beginning of the end. And so it's if our transform again dot x, and that's where the x and the to the x that says left and right, the z, which was we're going forward. That's pretty cool. And I think Unity completes so much for you on automatically. So if you get to if you get this far, it'll help you out. Probably it helps out a lot nowadays. Thank you, Unity. Full show. But anyways, so if our transform, which is our game object, um, is greater than our x goal, so right side is larger numbers and left side is smaller numbers. So if you start over on the right, it's for example 90, but if you want to go to the left, they'll just be smaller. So if it's greater than our x goal, we're gonna move it vector 3 left this time instead of forward like the previous times. Move it left, multiply it by the same direction, x speed, and and then still the movement. I guess you could probably, maybe to be super safe, I would change the name from movement to movement, just because I don't want it to, I don't know. I don't want them to fight over hierarchy or something like that at any point in time in the future, but it seems fine. I guess because it's in an if statement, so it doesn't care. All right. But yeah, that's something you could do for extra security. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So if it's not, so as long as it's greater than the x goal, it's still going to keep moving left until it's smaller than the x goal, which I guess you could have done, or equal to. I mean, yeah, you could have done greater than equal to, but anyways. So as long as it's bigger than the x goal, it's going to keep moving left. And then else, if it's not greater than the x goal anymore, we're just going to make that speed 0 too, and our player should stop. Let's see what we got. And I'm going to, I'll do the movement thing here. I don't think movement's a hard set word. Nope. I think it was because we declared it earlier. Yeah. So unless you want to make another private vector 3, which you don't have to, whatever. Let's be as safe. Nah, I don't know. That seems foolish. All right. But yes, you could make another one. So movement is going to go left. And then when it gets to that X goal, it's going to stop. And that's really it. We should have 2 movements set in. and that should work. Going towards the goal, and it stopped. Yeah, that's, like I said, that's not a very good example because it was so close to it anyways. All right, so I'll make the X goal, I don't know, -90. That might take it off screen, but I'll make it faster so we don't have to, I don't know, bite our nails watching. Let's see what we got. Boom and boom. Done and done. Success. And thank you all for coming. That's pretty much it. Leave any questions in the comments. And I'm probably gonna, what's it called? I'm probably gonna, the next tutorial will probably be a Unity UI text to change it, like for like to change a score and stuff like that when someone scores a touchdown, or I don't know, to change it down and stuff like that. So look out for that, and look out for football 11 versus 11 and Space Schooner. That's pretty much it. Yeah, like and subscribe, and thanks for coming by. Thank you.